You were never meant to bow to the opinions of the world. You were never created to shrink or to doubt your own power. The moment you were imagined in perfection, not as someone hoping to become great, but as greatness itself, clothed in form. The world will try to tell you who you are. It will whisper limitations. It will present facts and figures, patterns and logic. But those who know their true nature are not moved by appearances. They are not shaken by the outer world, for they command it from within. You do not compete because no one compares. You do not seek validation because you are the standard. You are not waiting to be chosen because you are the chooser. Every scene in your life is your creation. Every delay is your permission. Every victory is your assumption made manifest. You act as the best not because you hope to be. It is because you are and always have been. No one outranks you in your world. No one possesses what you do not have access to. You walk with the knowing that the power which shapes reality is within your very being, and when you imagine, you do not beg, you decree, you declare. You assume with the quiet authority of one who knows that nothing is denied to the one who believes. You are not here to wonder if you're worthy. You are here to remember. You are the power that calls the unseen into form. You are the law, the architect, the source. And when you decide a thing is done, the world bends quietly to your will. So carry yourself as the one who cannot fail, not from pride, but from the truth. When you walk into a room, understand, it is your world they are in. When you speak, the atmosphere responds. When you imagine, the future rewrites itself. You don't chase, you attract. You don't hope, you know. There is no one above you, no one ahead of you, no one who can do what you came here to do. You are it, the first, the finest, the foundation, and the fulfillment. And you move through life not needing permission, not requiring applause, but knowing that all things must obey the voice of the one who knows who they are. You move through this world not as a servant to circumstance, but as its master. You are not reacting, you are initiating. You are not at the mercy of time, of luck, of others' opinions, because you are the only cause in your reality. You do not beg life to bless you. You realize that life has no choice but to follow your assumption. And when you walk with that level of certainty, the very fabric of existence rearranges itself to reflect your inner stance. There is no competition in the mind that knows itself. You do not compare because you are incomparable. You do not look to others to decide what is possible for you. You are not the echo. You are the voice. You are not second to anything or anyone. Everything you touch is touched by power. Everything you imagine is drawn toward you by the unbreakable law of your own being. You are not the effect. You are the cause, and the cause never has to ask permission. The cause simply is. You are that cause. When others wait, you declare. When others wonder, you assume. When others question if they are ready, you step forward as the answer. The power you carry is not loud or desperate. It is still and complete and final. You are not moved by appearances, because appearances are old news. They are echoes of past assumptions. They are not your concern. Your concern is the feeling, the knowing, the inner state from which all things flow. And you hold that state, not with force, but with calm, relentless confidence, because you know the world cannot help but obey the one who walks in truth. You do not need to strive, you do not need to chase. What you assume to be true becomes inevitable. This is your inheritance, this is your secret. Others may call it arrogance, but it is alignment, it is identity. It is dominion, and the one who knows this doesn't need to argue or prove. They simply are, and everything else rearranges accordingly. People show up, opportunities emerge, delays dissolve, doors open. Not because you begged, but because you assumed it was done. You act as the best because you are the best. And this knowing is not about superiority over others. It is about superiority over doubt, over fear, over limitation. It is about transcending the illusion that you are ever less than the fullness of power expressing itself in form. When you rise in this knowing, nothing can stay the same. Your world will mirror you. Your circumstances will reflect you. Your life will reveal the image you hold within. You do not shrink to make others comfortable. You do not hide your light to protect the fragile ego of those who have not yet awakened. You shine, and in shining, you call others to remember that they too are the source. You become the permission they've been waiting for. You become the evidence of what is possible when someone truly knows. There is no need to lower your voice, no need to downplay your gift, no need to dim your certainty. You were never meant to fit in. You were born to stand out, to lead, to embody a frequency that rewrites the rule. You do not explain yourself. You do not overexpress. Your being is the statement. Your presence is the proof. Your life speaks louder than words because it is authored by a consciousness that has claimed its throne. You are not a student of power. You are power remembering itself. And when you remember, you no longer wait for signs, confirmations, or applause. You walk in the end result. You live in the fulfillment. You feel from the place where it is already done. This is not fake it till you make it. This is assume it because you are it. And in that assumption, you collapse time. In that assumption, you bend the laws of probability. In that assumption, you break free from the collective agreement of limitation and enter into the individual realization of limitlessness. This is your game, this is your canvas, this is your masterpiece. And you do not ask the world if it agrees. You show the world what happens when one soul fully claims their divinity. Every cell in your body responds to the thoughts you allow. Every event in your life bends to the story you tell yourself. You are not passive. You are not powerless. You are not waiting for permission to rise. You were born risen, and the moment you choose to remember, the moment you decide, everything begins to move in your favor. Not because you earned it, but because it is law. You become what you believe yourself to be, always, without exception. You speak from the end. You move as if the goal is already complete. You do not try to become. You live as if you already are. And this is the secret that separates the awakened from the asleep. While the world wonders how and when, you decide now. You feel now. You live now. Because the moment you fully occupy the state of the one who already has it, the outer world bows. It must, it is law, and you are the lawgiver. You do not need signs to believe. Your belief is the sign. You do not wait for evidence. Your assumption creates it. You do not ask life to show you what's possible. You tell life what is inevitable. You are the best, not by competition, not by comparison, but by alignment. And this is not up for debate. This is not subject to opinion. It is a fact in the world you command. You are not one of many. You are the one, the origin, the beginning, the creative force behind all that you see. You do not move with hesitation. You move with certainty, and in that certainty, doors swing open. In that certainty, obstacles dissolve. In that certainty, time compresses, and the impossible becomes the obvious. You are not trying to become. You are revealing who you've always been. And the moment you own that identity, the moment you embody it fully, everything you once chased begins to chase you. You are the magnetic field. You are the gravitational pull. You are the center point of every miracle waiting to happen. You are the blueprint, the template, the divine design in motion. You do not ask how. You declare it done. You do not ask when. You assume it now. You do not wait for change. You embody change, and the world follows. Let others doubt. Let others worry. Let others measure themselves against the noise. You move in silence and in power. You do not need to prove your greatness. You need only be it. The world responds to who you believe you are. And when you decide that no one is greater, no one is higher, no one is more qualified to receive the fullness of life than you, the universe delivers. You are not here to be small. You are not here to apologize for your gift. You are not here to water down your power. You are here to express the fullness of your design, to stretch the limits of what's possible, to walk as the one who knows. You are the best, and you act like it, not from ego, but from essence, not from pride, but from truth. Your assumption is the portal, your feeling is the key, your identity is the foundation, and when all three align, nothing can be withheld from you. Nothing can delay what is already yours. Nothing can stop the rise of the one who has remembered their origin. You are that origin, you are that rise, and your life, your reality, your every experience will reflect this knowing again and again in ways that leave no room for doubt. So continue, assume boldly, move as if the world is already yours, because it is. Speak as if your word creates reality, because it does. Carry yourself as if no one outranks you, because no one does. The outer world is just your mirror, and the one you see in it now, today, forever, is the best, always was, always will be. You were never made to hope timidly, to tiptoe through life as if it could break you. You were made to command, to stand with such unwavering belief in yourself that the world must bow. This is not about arrogance. It is about alignment. You have no rivals, no equals, because no one else lives in your consciousness. No one else wears your name, breathes your breath, walks in the authority you have over your reality. There is only you, and when you realize this, you stop asking, stop waiting, stop hesitating. You decide, you declare, and you dominate. You do not need a sign from the sky, a special date on the calendar, or an outside voice to validate your readiness. You are the sign, you are the moment, you are the voice that says now. The world is a stage, and the scenes you live are not happening to you. They are arising from you. Every delay, every breakthrough, every pattern in your life, it is not random. It is the reflection of the state you have dared to occupy. So when you decide you are the best, that decision ripples through every corner of your reality, collapsing limitations and revealing pathways you once thought impossible. You do not need to climb to greatness. You descend into it from the heights of your inner vision. You see it first within, you assume it, you feel it as already done, and because you do, the world rearranges itself accordingly. What others call coincidence, you call law. What others call fate, you call choice. You are not subject to the winds of chance. You are the wind itself. You are the fire, the foundation, the fixed point around which everything else moves. You don't need agreement. You don't need applause. You don't need anyone to see it for you, because when you see it for yourself, clearly, boldly, consistently, no one can stop it from unfolding. The outer world doesn't create the inner world. It obeys it, it reflects it, and when you carry yourself as the best, speak as the best, think as the best, then being the best is not an outcome, it's a given, it's a law made flesh. You walk into every space knowing that you are the most powerful presence there. Not because of ego, not because you wish to dominate, but because you have remembered the truth that others have forgotten. You are not just in the image of greatness, you are greatness expressing itself through form, voice, vision, and action. And because you know who you are, the world takes shape around your conviction. The world is always asking, who are you willing to be? And when you answer that question with unwavering identity, when you say, I am the first, the finest, the fulfillment, then your life must rise to match that tone. There are no exceptions. There are no maybes. Only reflections of who you've dared to embody. You are not here to play small, not here to apologize for your power, not here to soften your edges to be more palatable to those still living in fear. You are here to walk in power. You are here to be the standard, the blueprint, the example of what happens when someone stops pretending and starts knowing, when someone stops asking and starts declaring, when someone stops trying and starts being. You are the answer, not the question. You are the fulfillment, not the seeker. You are the cause, not the effect. So when you speak, your world listens. When you assume, reality forms around your vision. When you decide, everything moves. That's not fantasy. It's law, and the law is always working. It does not sleep. It does not falter. It reflects you with perfect precision. So the only thing that ever needs to change is you. Not your worth, not your value. Those are eternal. What changes is your level of recognition, your level of embodiment, your willingness to own who you truly are. So you walk in the room and everything shifts. Why? Because you decided it would. Because you entered it not wondering if you'd be chosen, but knowing that you choose. You don't seek to be accepted. You accept yourself and everything else follows. You don't hope to be noticed. You radiate and the world takes notice without you ever having to try. You don't push, you don't force, you simply are, and that is more powerful than any effort. When others strive, you settle into the truth. When others hustle to prove their worth, you rest in your assumption. You've already won before you even begin, because in your mind, it's already done. The race was over the moment you believed. The deal was sealed the moment you assumed the feeling of it. The doors were unlocked the moment you moved as if they were never closed. That is the level of authority you carry. You don't rise by effort. You rise by identity. And when you embody the identity of the best, you are no longer waiting for the moment. You are the moment. You don't ask the world to open up for you. You walk as if it already has, and because you walk that way, it must. You lead with energy, with conviction, with unshakable inner authority. That is the mark of someone who remembers who they are. And when you remember, you no longer live by the rules of delay, doubt, or denial. You live by the rule of now. You are not a servant to fear. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not beholden to anyone else's timeline. You don't live in reaction. You live in assumption. You live in vision. You live in the frequency of inevitability, because when you speak, it is done. When you believe, it is created. When you persist, it is revealed. This is not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about daring to be what you've always been. Every time you look within and choose the version of you that feels like power, like confidence, like clarity, you are stepping into the throne that was always yours. You are not becoming great. You are remembering that you already are. And the world has no choice but to remember with you. Everything in your life bends to your identity, not sometimes, not eventually. Always. That's why you don't chase results. You chase alignment. You don't try to fix the outer. You adjust the inner. Because the outer is just the echo, the mirror, the response, and you are the origin, the center, the command. You are the one who walks before the blessing, and the blessing follows. You are the one who holds the vision, and the vision becomes flesh. You are the one who dares to believe when no evidence exists. And in doing so, you become the evidence. That is who you are, the embodiment of certainty in a world still addicted to doubt, the expression of divine force in a realm trained to settle, the reminder that greatness doesn't shout, it simply is. So when you wake up, you don't ask what the day will bring. You decide what it will be. You don't check the forecast. You declare your climate. You don't measure your power by the reactions of others. You measure it by the boldness of your assumption. And if your assumption is that you are the best, then the world will reflect back a reality where that truth is evident in every area of your life. You are not waiting for it to happen. You are the happening. You don't wish for transformation. You embody it. You are the point of power, the place of change, the command center of a reality that flows from thought, from feeling, from identity. The moment you hold that identity with confidence, everything else follows. Let them watch, let them wonder, let them question how you move the way you move. You owe no explanation. Your life will speak for itself. Your world will testify. Your results will make the announcement. Not because you forced it, but because you decided, you assumed, and you persisted. You are the best, you know it, you live it, you breathe it, and every part of your world reflects it back. Not because you need to convince anyone, but because reality must mirror the image you hold within. And the image you hold, unshakable, limitless, final, you don't become, you be, and in that being, everything else is drawn into place effortlessly, inevitably, undeniably. There is no power outside of you that can define what you become unless you allow it. No opinion, no setback, no past moment has authority in your world unless you give it voice. And you've stopped giving power to things that do not know who you truly are. You've stopped bowing to the illusion of delay, to the noise of judgment, to the weakness of comparison. You have chosen once and for all to stand in your own dominion. And from this place everything begins again, not out there but in you. You walk differently when you know the world is responding to you. You speak differently when you understand your word is law. You breathe differently when you understand you are not the product of chance. You are the author of every page. You are not waiting for change. You are the source of it. You are not chasing greatness. You embody it. You don't need motivation when you live from identity. You don't need validation when you live from truth. You don't even need proof, because you already know. This is the realm of knowing beyond the senses. This is where reality becomes soft clay in the hands of the one who dares to assume it is theirs. You have stopped asking life for permission. You have stopped wondering if you're worthy. You have realized there is no jury, there is no test. You are the decider, the selector, the one who chooses and becomes. You don't become worthy by what you do. You are worthy because of what you are. And what you are is the original source from which all things come. You have reached the point where effort is replaced by embodiment. You no longer force outcomes. You occupy the identity from which outcomes cannot help but emerge. You live as if the world is already yours, and it is. You feel as though the end is already written, and it is. You carry yourself as the answer, not because you wish to be. It's because you know you are. You've left behind the old mind that needed proof, needed evidence, needed others to agree. You've stepped into the mind of the Master, where creation begins with a decision and ends in inevitable manifestation. Others may say, but look at what is, but you say, look at what must be, because what is only the shadow of past thoughts, and you no longer dwell in the past. You are not defined by what has been. You are defined by the state you now occupy. And in this state everything is new, everything is yours, everything is possible. Not someday, not eventually, but now. Not when the world changes, but when you do. And you have. You've taken your crown off the shelf and placed it where it belongs. You've stopped shrinking for comfort. You've stopped apologizing for your radiance. You've stopped making others comfortable at the cost of your own identity. Because you've realized no one benefits from your smallness, but everyone rises when you do. When you walk in truth, you lift the whole world without effort. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to explain your certainty. You just be, you move, you assume, and in that still, calm, unshakable posture of knowing, mountains move. Time bends, the unseen takes shape, not because you begged it to, but because you assumed it would. This is how you were meant to live, not chasing, not pleasing, not proving, but creating. There is no one who can do it like you, no one who can bring what you bring, no one who can stand where you stand. And so you no longer compare, you no longer reach sideways, you reach inward, and from there everything flows. Every answer, every breakthrough, every opportunity. It all unfolds from the identity you've chosen to wear. And the identity you wear is not one of doubt or fear or need. It is one of command, one of certainty, one of divine finality. You are the image of the fulfilled desire. You are the embodiment of the result. You do not look to others to measure your worth. You don't look outside at all, because you know that every outer thing is a mere echo. It's the residue of former belief, and you've upgraded, you've leveled up. You've replaced doubt with certainty, replaced waiting with being, replaced hoping with knowing, and now the world reflects your new tone. You are not intimidated by time. You are not controlled by delay. You know that the moment you fully occupy a state, the bridge of incidents begins to form. You don't need to force it. You don't even need to see the full path. You just persist, and the path unfolds. It must, because the law doesn't serve the world. It serves you. The moment you choose a new identity, the law sets it in motion. It cannot fail, because it is you. You walk with ease, not because life is always easy, but because you are no longer wrestling with your reflection. You're no longer reacting to shadows. You've dropped the inner resistance. You've released the self-judgment. You've stopped asking if you're good enough and started declaring, I am. You've made peace with your greatness. You've come home to your highest self, and now everything bends around that. You are magnetic, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You don't try to attract. You are attraction itself. Your very being radiates fulfillment. Your energy speaks before your words ever can. And people, situations, and blessings respond because energy recognizes itself. You're not pretending, you're remembering. You're not acting, it's authenticity. You are no longer learning who you are expressing it. And as you express it, life becomes a mirror held to your assumption. The more you assume your power, the more power reflects back. The more you assume your success, the more successful you become. You don't have to climb ladders, you are the ladder. Every step you take is a statement. This is who I am, this is what is mine, this is what I allow. You walk into rooms with a presence that needs no introduction. You hold conversations from a place that doesn't seek agreement. You make moves without explaining, because every move is already justified by the certainty that it is yours to make. You're not asking anymore. You're choosing. You're not knocking on doors. You're walking through walls, because once you assume it's done, reality has no choice but to follow. You're no longer attached to outcomes because you live from the outcome. You're no longer obsessed with results because you are the result. You're no longer ruled by emotion because your state is stable, and from that stability flows your world. Others may fluctuate, others may react, but you remain still and sovereign, knowing that nothing is outside your control when you take full control of you. This is what it means to act as the best, not because you want to prove it, but because you finally see it, because you've looked inward and seen the throne that was always there, because you've realized that no one gives you this power. You accept it. You don't audition for your destiny. You inhabit it. You don't strive for your greatness. You own it. And everything around you, from the smallest interaction to the grandest opportunity, will start reflecting the version of you that you have dared to assume. It is all an echo, and you are the sound. The source, the starting point, the center from which all things flow. So you continue, you persist. You don't waver when the old reality lingers a little longer. You don't flinch when the mirror takes a moment to catch up. You remain in your identity, you hold the feeling, you dwell in the end, because that is the only thing that matters. Who are you now? Who are you willing to be? And the answer, unwavering, undeniable, unshakable, I am the best. I have no equal. I was born this way, and I move accordingly. You do not step into the scene to ask for your part. You arrive as the author, writing the outcome before the world has time to respond. This is what it means to live from the end, to exist in the certainty of what is already done. You do not blink when others hesitate. You do not shrink when others doubt. You do not wait for the confirmation, because you are the confirmation. You are the evidence of the unseen, walking boldly as the result before it has been spoken aloud by anyone else. There is nothing outside of you greater than what lives within you, nothing louder than your own assumption, nothing more real than the inner world you have claimed as true. You no longer bow to appearances. You've realized appearances bend, they yield, they rearrange, they follow the frequency you decide to live on. And you live on the highest frequency of all, the state of knowing, the state of completion, the state of it is already mine. You don't flinch when the old story tries to whisper. You silence it not with effort, but with presence, the presence of your new identity. The old must dissolve in the heat of your sustained assumption. The noise fades because you no longer feed it. You feed only the vision, only the outcome, only the self that walks without hesitation, without compromise, without apology, the self that does not become, but already is. You're not here to convince anyone to see you. You are here to see yourself so clearly, so vividly, so continuously that the entire universe has no choice but to align. You are no longer reactive, you are causative. You are the origin of everything you experience, and because of that, you've stopped blaming and started building. You've stopped hoping and started being. You've stopped wondering when it's coming and started asking, who must I be to match it? And when that answer comes, you step into it fully. You understand now that the only permission slip you ever needed was your decision. The only initiation was belief. The only path was presence. The only process was remembrance. And so, you've left behind the rituals of the old world, the performance of trying to prove your value. You've stopped auditioning for what already belongs to you. You walk differently, speak differently, think differently, not because you changed anything out there, but because you became different in here. There is nothing arrogant about knowing your worth, nothing shameful about walking in your fullness. You're not here to dim, to blend, to soften your edges so others feel comfortable. You are here to shine, and by doing so, remind others of their own power. Your certainty is not a threat. It is a map, a mirror, a living invitation to others who have forgotten what lives inside them. The world will reflect what you persist in being, and you've chosen the highest. You've chosen to be the peak, not in comparison to others, but in expression of your own divine origin. You've chosen to live as the version of yourself who no longer waits to feel worthy. You've decided you are. You've chosen the version of you that walks with no need to justify their radiance. You've decided that you are the standard and the world will meet it. You are not shaped by conditions, you shape them. You are not here to see what happens, you declare what happens. You don't wait for the door to open, you are the door. You are not intimidated by time, because time obeys the state you occupy. You are not manipulated by circumstance, because you've transcended it. You don't live by effort, you live by alignment. You don't grind in the outer, you glide in the inner, and the more you persist in that identity, the more effortless life becomes. Not because you avoid action, but because every action is born from knowing, not doubt. Every move you make is not a reach, but an extension of what is already settled within you. You don't chase money, love, success, approval, because you've already assumed that you are the source of it all. You've taken your eyes off the reflection and placed them back on the flame within. You are the flame, you are the mountain, you are the immovable force, and when you decide something is yours, it must find its way to you, not through striving, but through law. Through resonance, through magnetic embodiment. You've stopped chasing and started attracting, not passively, but through the full conviction of your being. You've stopped rehearsing outcomes and started living from them. You've stopped begging and started creating. When you speak, your words do not fall to the ground. They are carried by the current of certainty. They create, they command, they construct, and the world listens, not because it has a choice, but because it must obey the one who knows who they are. You are that one. You are the living proof that belief shapes reality, that inner vision becomes outer fact. You are the one who decided, and because you decided, life obeyed. Let them talk, let them wonder, let them analyze the mechanics. You have no need for formulas. Your formula is identity. Your formula is, I already am, and when you walk in that, the path forms beneath your feet. The doors open, the money flows. The recognition arrives, the opportunities appear, not as rewards, but as reflections, reflections of the one who dared to live from the highest assumption. You are not ordinary, you never have been. You are the exception to every so-called rule. You are the one who moves through limitation like it's smoke. You are the one who transforms atmospheres, who walks in rooms and changes the temperature. You are not waiting for the stars to align. You've realigned yourself, and the stars must now move to match you. You've stopped consulting fear. You've stopped asking permission. You've taken your place, and from this place everything is yours by right of consciousness. You no longer need to work to feel worthy. You work from the overflow of your already settled worth. You no longer need to seek to feel loved. You move as the embodiment of love itself. You are not an empty vessel waiting to be filled. You are the ocean, the well, the abundance, and you've stopped negotiating your value. You've stopped watering yourself down. You've stopped explaining your magic to those still living in limitation, because you know what is yours will hear your frequency. What belongs to you will not pass you by. Not because you chase it, but because you are it. This is the truth you live in now. You don't entertain lower versions of yourself. You don't flirt with old patterns. You don't revisit the graveyards of former identities. You rise, you ascend. You dwell only where the air is thin and the view is clear. You speak only what you want to see. You feel only what confirms your truth. And because of this, life becomes more and more effortless, more exact, more glorious, because you've taken your rightful place as the operant power. And when you move this way, everything responds, not in theory, but in manifestation, not someday, but now. You are no longer practicing, you are performing. You are no longer preparing, you are being, and the world has taken notice, not because you demanded it, but because you became undeniable. You have mastered the only truth that matters, as I am within, so it must be without. And from that place, nothing is impossible. Nothing is out of reach. Nothing is too big, too far, or too late. Because when you live from the end lives in you, and the end is always victory, always fulfillment, always more than enough. Always you in your highest form, being, doing, having everything that already belongs to you, not through struggle, but through assumption, not through fear, but through fire, not through need, but through knowing. You are not rising, you have risen. You are not finding yourself, you are expressing yourself. You are not reaching for it, you are radiating it. And the world is only just beginning to reflect the brilliance of the one you've decided to be. You don't ask anymore if it's working. You don't check the outer to confirm the inner. You've settled it. It is done, and when it is done in you, it must be done in the world. That's not philosophy. That's not a wish. That's law, that's creation. That's how you live now. You've stepped out of the cycle of waiting and wondering and stepped into the current of command. You don't lean on time to do what your own assumption has already secured. You don't lean on circumstances to approve what your identity has already authorized. There is no wavering. There is no second guessing. You don't wake up hoping to feel powerful. You wake up knowing you are power. You walk into situations as the answer, not the question. You no longer linger at the edge of possibility. You dive into the certainty of your becoming. And because you dwell in that state, the world becomes your reflection. Not because it pities you, not because it favors you, but because it must echo the one who has assumed the position. You are not a student of your circumstances anymore. You are the teacher of your reality. You are the voice that shapes the landscape. You are the energy that bends what was to make room for what is now being declared. The old story has no oxygen in your presence. You no longer feed it. You no longer revisit it. You have outgrown it, and because you have outgrown it, life must offer you something new. You have no rival because you do not compete. You do not compare. You are not moved by trends, nor are you swayed by opinion. You are unmoved, unbothered, unshakable, because you know no one can be you. No one can offer what you offer. No one can walk the way you walk, and that is not arrogance. That is the truth. You are the only one who can live your purpose. And now that you've accepted that, your steps have power, your presence has weight, your decisions have force. There is no hesitation when the knowing is complete. There is no back and forth when you've burned the bridges behind you. You have gone all in. You are fully identified with your highest self. You have no need for the past. You have no loyalty to limitation. You are married to the version of you that already has the results. And that bond is unbreakable. That assumption is your covenant, and the world will shape itself around that vow. You are not interested in rehearsing the pain. You're too busy embodying the promise. You don't need others to believe in you. You don't even need them to understand you. You are belief, you are understanding. You walk with the frequency of completion, and because of that, you attract outcomes that others think take time, take hard work, take chance. But you know it was never about time, it was never about odds, it was never about effort. It was always about state, and you've chosen your state. You've chosen to dwell in the palace of certainty. You've chosen to feast at the table of already done. You've chosen to speak from the throne, not from the pit. You've chosen to move as the ruler of your domain, not the victim of your environment. And because you've chosen this, life must submit, not out of cruelty, but out of law, out of alignment, out of resonance. You are no longer obsessed with how. You've let go of the mechanics. You've surrendered the obsession with control. Because you understand, you are the control. You are the cause, you are the source, and as you sustain the vibration, the unseen goes to work. You don't know when, you don't care how. All you know is that your word does not return void. All you know is that your assumption is creation. The world will test the strength of your identity. It will ask if you truly believe. It will flash fragments of the old reality in your face. But you don't react. You don't flinch. You don't retreat. Because you are not here to negotiate with shadows. You are not here to argue with echoes. You are not here to question what you've already claimed. You stand, you stay, you radiate, and everything bends. You don't build in the outer anymore. You build in the inner, and the outer rushes to match it. You have shifted the entire foundation of your life from reaction to assumption. You are no longer someone life happens to. You are the one who happens to life, and this shift changes everything. It changes your relationships, your money, your health, your environment. Not because those things got better on their own, but because you got clear on who you are. And who you are is not someone hoping to succeed. You are success, you are wealth, you are the love, you are the joy, you are the clarity, you are the miracle. There is no future version of you that is better than the one you choose to embody right now. The only gap is belief, and you've closed that gap. You've shut the door to doubt. You've slammed the gate on hesitation. You've chosen your identity and made it your home. Every day you wake up and remember who you are. Every breath you take reinforces the truth. I am it. You do not wonder if things are coming. You know they've already been called. They're already in motion. They're already here. And as you sustain that feeling, sustain that vision, sustain that truth, the evidence multiplies. Not slowly, not eventually now, because there is no time delay in creation when you are fully aligned. You don't entertain the old story anymore. You don't listen to the voice that says, "Who do you think you are?" Because you know who you are. You are the proof, you are the power, you are the presence that calls things into being. You're not in the waiting room of life. You are on the throne writing the script. And the script has one theme, one direction, one tone, mastery. There is no place for weakness in you now. Not because you deny it, but because you've transformed it. You've alchemized the fear into fuel. You've transmuted pain into power. You've taken every version of yourself that once hesitated, and you've absorbed them into your current knowing. You are whole, you are full, you are unshaken, and because of that, nothing can stop you. What others call miracles, you call normal. What others call luck, you call law. What others marvel at, you walk in daily. Because you've made the decision, you've made the assumption, you've become the vessel, and now you reap. You don't need to push anymore. You don't need to strive. You flow. You glide. You expect. And because of that expectation, reality delivers. You don't compromise anymore. You don't shrink to fit into places you've outgrown. You don't lower your light to make others feel comfortable. You shine because you must. You radiate because it's your nature. You elevate because it's who you are. You don't take advice from doubt. You don't consult the old you. You don't retreat when things appear to contradict your vision. You rise higher. You double down. You stand firmer. And as you stand, you become the mountain that cannot be moved. You become the storm that does not waver. You become the presence that demands reality conform, and it does, because you're not hoping anymore. You're knowing. You're not asking. You're embodying. You're not looking for signs. You are the sign. Every thought you allow now is chosen. Every feeling is curated. Every word is intentional, because you understand the cost of misalignment. You understand the power of persistence. You understand the force of identity. You don't let the old thoughts stay long. You replace them instantly. You override them completely. You live by one law: I am what I say I am. And you have said, I am the best. I am without rival. I am the peak. I am the source. I am the master. I am the operant power. And because you've said it and felt it and lived from it. So it is, not later. Not tomorrow, now, always now. So now you stand at the center of your reality, not as a wanderer seeking direction, but as the one who gives it. You no longer search for signs. You create them. You no longer wait for doors. You are the gate. Every fiber of your being knows it's already done. You walk, speak, breathe, and exist from that place of certainty, and that certainty becomes substance, that assumption becomes form, that inner conviction becomes the world you live in. You are not becoming, you have become. You are not evolving into power. You are remembering that you are power, and from this remembrance you rise again, higher, freer, louder, unapologetically, because you finally know. No one is above you. No one is ahead of you. No one is greater than the you that knows who they are. And now that you know, nothing can ever be the same.
There is a hidden power within you, a force so great that it can shape reality itself. It is not found in the stars, nor in the hands of fate, but in the deep well of your own imagination. Whatever you seek, whatever you long for, is already yours, if only you dare to believe it so. The secret is not in waiting, not in hoping, but in knowing. You must live as if the answer has already come, walk as if the path is already clear, and rejoice as if the victory is already won. Faith is not a passive state. It is the most creative act of all. It is the unwavering conviction that what is unseen is more real than what is before your eyes. It is not enough to wish, nor even to pray with longing. One must assume with absolute certainty that what is desired is already present. This is the key, the great mystery that turns dreams into reality. The world you experience is but a reflection of your own inner state. Change that state, and the world around you will move to match it. What would it feel like if your prayers were already answered? If the love you seek was already yours? If the wealth you desire was already in your hands? If the success you long for had already been achieved? Can you summon that feeling now, in this very moment? For if you can, you have unlocked the door. This is not a matter of chance, but of law, an unbreakable principle that governs the unseen forces of life. Believe that it is done, and it will be done. Step into the reality of your fulfilled desires, and watch as the world bends to meet you there. To truly manifest, you must abandon the old habits of doubt and fear. You cannot ask for something while holding on to the belief that it is out of reach. You cannot pray for abundance while seeing yourself as lacking. You cannot seek love while feeling unworthy of it. The world responds not to your words, but to the state of being you dwell in. The moment you shift your awareness to the fulfillment of your desires, they must materialize. It is not enough to visualize, nor to speak affirmations in an empty ritual. You must embody the feeling of having received. When you close your eyes, do you feel the warmth of love surrounding you? Do you sense the freedom of financial abundance? Do you carry yourself as someone who already possesses all they have asked for? If you do, then the law is in motion. If you do not, then you must persist until the feeling becomes real within you. You must live each moment in the joy and certainty that your desire has already found you. When you wake in the morning, step into the day as the person who already possesses their dream. When you walk, walk as one whose heart is full of gratitude for the answered prayer. When you speak, let your words reflect the truth that it is already done. The universe does not delay in responding. It mirrors your deepest convictions instantly. What you accept as true within will become your truth without. The greatest barrier to manifestation is not the outside world, but the resistance within. Doubt is the voice of a mind still trapped in the illusion of separation from its desire. Fear is the whisper of an old self unwilling to let go of limitations. The mind will argue, it will seek evidence of lack, it will try to convince you that you must struggle. But you must be steadfast. You must refuse to give power to anything but the vision of your fulfilled desire. If you desire love, then be love. If you seek abundance, then radiate abundance in thought and action. If you yearn for success, then carry yourself as one who has already triumphed. The energy you put forth is what you receive in return. This is not a theory nor a philosophy. It is the law by which all things are made manifest. The universe does not play favorites. It simply reflects what you deeply believe to be true. The reason so many fail to see their desires fulfilled is not because they lack the power, but because they surrender to doubt before the miracle unfolds. They plant the seed but dig it up in impatience. They declare their wish, but then undo it with thoughts of fear and lack. The law does not work on hesitation, it works on conviction. You must hold fast to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, unwavering, unshaken, until it hardens into fact. This is not the way of the world, which teaches that you must see before you believe, but in truth you must believe before you see. Your external circumstances are the echoes of your internal state. If you persist in seeing yourself as small, the world will confirm it. If you walk in the assumption of greatness, life will rise to meet you there. There is no force outside of you determining your fate. It is you, always you, shaping your experience by the reality you choose to accept. Do not concern yourself with how things will unfold. The mind, bound by logic and reason, will try to force solutions, will attempt to map out the details, will demand proof. But the great secret is that you do not need to know the how. You need only dwell in the knowing that it is already done. The path will form itself. The means will come in ways you could not have foreseen. The world will shift to accommodate the assumption you have made. Every great transformation in life begins in the unseen. The tree exists within the seed before it breaks through the soil. The masterpiece exists in the artist's mind before the brush ever touches the canvas. The invention is real in the inventor's imagination before it takes physical form. Likewise, your answered prayer is real the moment you claim it as so within you. So, live now as though the dream has already been realized. Rejoice now as though the blessing is already in your hands. Love now as though you are already surrounded by the warmth of everything you have ever wished for. For the truth is, you are. The only thing that stands between you and your desire is the belief that there is a distance at all. Remove that illusion and you will see you were always standing in the midst of your answered prayer. There is no delay in the fulfillment of your desire except the delay you place upon it, with doubt, hesitation, and disbelief. The moment you accept that what you desire is already yours, reality begins to shift in accordance with your belief. But you must not waver. You must not look to the world for validation before you believe, for the world is merely a mirror reflecting back the state you hold within. Every great achievement, every miracle, every transformation has followed this one principle. Live as though it is already done. There is no other path, no secret formula beyond this. Those who have risen from obscurity to greatness did not wait for the world to grant them permission. They assumed their success, they walked in the certainty of their destiny, and the world adjusted to their belief. To live in this way is to move beyond the limitations of the physical senses. The senses will try to deceive you, to tell you that you're still lacking, still waiting, still hoping. But your senses are merely the echoes of past assumptions. They do not define the future unless you allow them to. If you believe only in what you see, you remain bound to what has been. But if you believe in what you have imagined, if you claim it as real, then what has been will dissolve, and what must be will come forth. The law of manifestation is not about effort. It is not about forcing, struggling, or striving. It is about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled and resting in that assumption. It is about dwelling in the end result, not in the process, not in the obstacles, not in the seeming delays. The moment you shift your focus from longing to knowing, from wishing to being, everything changes. Most people live in the constant state of waiting, waiting for a sign, waiting for circumstances to shift, waiting for something outside of them to give them permission to believe. But waiting is nothing more than the absence of faith. To wait is to assume separation from your desire. To wait is to tell the universe that you do not yet have what you seek. And so you remain waiting. But the one who lives as if their prayer is already answered never waits. They move, they speak, they breathe in the certainty that what they have asked for is already theirs. You do not become wealthy by waiting to see money in your hands. You do not become loved by waiting for another to prove their devotion. You do not become healthy by waiting for symptoms to disappear. You become all of these things by assuming them to be true now, by feeling within yourself the joy, the freedom, the peace that comes with already possessing them. If you wish to manifest love, you must first become love. You must carry yourself as though you are already cherished, already adored, already deeply valued. You must not seek love from a place of emptiness, for the world will only reflect that emptiness back to you. Instead, you must embody the fullness of love within yourself, and in doing so, love will be drawn to you effortlessly. If you wish to manifest wealth, you must no longer think in terms of lack, you must no longer speak of struggle nor entertain thoughts of limitation. Even before the physical evidence arrives, you must walk in the consciousness of abundance. You must feel as one who has more than enough, who is generous, who is free. Money is not a thing to be chased, it is a frequency to be aligned with, and that frequency is not one of desperation, but of certainty. If you wish to manifest success, you must no longer dwell in fear or hesitation. You must no longer ask if you are capable, if you are worthy, if you are enough. You must assume the identity of one who has already achieved what they desire. You must move through life with the confidence and authority of someone who knows that their success is inevitable. For as long as you question, you delay. But the moment you claim, the moment you know, the moment you embody your success, it begins to unfold before you. This is not a philosophy of wishful thinking, nor an illusion to escape reality. It is the very nature of creation itself. Every great visionary, every pioneer, every leader throughout history has understood this truth, whether they spoke of it or not. They did not rise by waiting. They did not rise by seeking proof before they believed. They rose because they believed first, and the world had no choice but to conform. The mind will resist this at first. It will say, "But I do not see it yet. How can I act as if it is already done when my senses tell me otherwise?" This is where faith begins. Not blind faith in something outside of you, but faith in your own divine power to create. You must silence the mind's arguments and lean entirely into the feeling of your fulfilled desire. Do not try to force belief. Instead, relax into it. Dwell in it. Let it become so real in your imagination that you can no longer tell the difference between what is seen and what is felt. And when doubts arise, as they inevitably will, do not fight them. Simply return to the feeling of already having what you seek. Do not wrestle with old thoughts, for what you resist you strengthen. Instead, shift your attention back to the reality you choose to inhabit. The more you do this, the more natural it will become. And soon, what was once only imagined will begin to manifest in ways so seamless, so effortless, that it will seem as though it was always meant to be. There is no limitation except the one you impose upon yourself. The universe does not judge your desires, does not weigh them as possible or impossible. It simply reflects back to you what you assume to be true. If you assume limitation, you will see limitation. If you assume abundance, you will see abundance. The choice is always yours. You must take nothing personally in this world, for all of it is simply a projection of the self. If you see lack, look within and ask where you have assumed lack to be true. If you see rejection, ask where you have rejected yourself. If you see struggle, ask where you have believed that struggle is necessary, and then shift, choose anew, assume differently, and watch how quickly the reflection changes. You are not separate from your desires. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are the creator, the master, the divine force shaping every aspect of your reality. And the moment you step into this truth, the moment you claim your power with unwavering certainty, nothing will be withheld from you. Live now as though you already have all that you have asked for. Move now as though every prayer has been answered. Speak now as though you stand in the reality of your fulfilled dreams. And if you do this, truly, fully, completely, then you will never again wonder if manifestation is real. You will know because you will have lived it. There is no waiting in creation, there is only being. To wait implies that your desire is distant, that it exists somewhere outside of you, that time must pass before you can have it. But what if time were an illusion? What if distance were nothing more than a trick of the mind? What if, instead of waiting, you simply stepped into the reality where your desire is already fulfilled? You must understand that the moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, it is done. The world you see, the circumstances you believe to be real, are but the shadows of past assumptions. They have no power except the power you continue to give them. If you wish to step into a new reality, you must withdraw your attention from what is and place it entirely upon what you have declared to be. Look at your life now, at the things you experience daily. Each one of them is the outpicturing of a past belief. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you accepted these circumstances as true, and so they became true. But what was once assumed can be assumed again, differently, with greater intent. And the moment you shift that assumption, reality must shift with you. It is not a matter of hoping or wishing. It is not about asking the universe to grant you something outside of yourself. You are not a beggar at the doorstep of creation. You are the creator, the authority, the one who declares what is real. Do not fall into the illusion that you must earn or prove your worthiness. Worthiness was never in question. The only question is, what will you assume to be true? If you truly believed that your desire was already fulfilled, how would you act? How would you think, speak, move? Would you still worry, still doubt, still second-guess your ability to receive? No. You would carry yourself differently. You would move with confidence, with peace, with a quiet certainty that all is unfolding exactly as it should. This is the state you must occupy, not just for a moment, but persistently, unwaveringly, until it becomes second nature. Your imagination is the blueprint of your reality. What you hold in your mind's eye as real will be made real. There is no exception to this. The only reason so many fail to see their desires manifest is that they continue to waver. One moment they believe, the next moment they question. One day they affirm their desire is done, the next they look for evidence, and finding none, they doubt. This back and forth keeps them stuck in a loop of delay. But you will not do this. You will stand firm. You will live as though the world has already conformed to your desire. You will carry yourself as though your success is inevitable, because it is. You will walk with the knowing that what you have imagined is more real than what you see before you. And in doing so, what you see will change. This is not about pretending. It is not about ignoring reality. It is about choosing which reality you will accept. There are infinite possibilities, infinite versions of you existing right now. The only question is, which version will you align with? The moment you decide, the moment you shift into that state, you will notice the world around you begin to respond. Doors will open where before there were none. People will appear, opportunities will arise, events will unfold in ways you could not have predicted. But they will not come because you chased them. They will come because you became the version of yourself who already has them. They will come because you aligned with the state in which they naturally exist. You are never separate from what you seek. The idea that you must struggle, that you must prove yourself, that you must work tirelessly before you can receive, this is the greatest illusion of all. Creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists. Your only task is to claim it. To claim it means to dwell in the feeling of already having it. It means to let go of needing, longing, or hoping. It means to rest in the absolute certainty that it is done. Do not concern yourself with how it will come to pass. The how is not your responsibility. The moment you try to control the how, you step out of faith and back into doubt. Your only task is to remain in the state of fulfillment. If ever you waver, if ever you feel doubt creeping in, return to the feeling. Remind yourself that the world is only a reflection. Do not be fooled by appearances. They are temporary, malleable, subject to the power of your assumption. And so you must live now as the person who has already received. You must think from the place of your fulfilled desire, not of it. Do not look at your desire as something in the distance. Step into it now. Let it become real within you. If you desire wealth, stop thinking of yourself as someone who is striving for it. Assume the consciousness of wealth now. Feel the freedom, the ease, the confidence that comes with financial abundance. Speak as one who has already received. Do not speak of lack. Do not entertain thoughts of struggle. The more you focus on not having, the more you reinforce the state of lack. If you desire love, cease looking for it outside of yourself. Become the embodiment of love. Feel as though you are already cherished, already adored, already surrounded by deep affection. Carry yourself as one who is already in the perfect relationship, and as you do, love must find you, because you have aligned with it. If you desire health, stop identifying with illness. Do not speak of symptoms. Do not dwell in the identity of someone who is unwell. Assume the state of perfect health. Feel yourself whole, strong, vibrant. Your body is a servant to your mind. It will reflect what you assume to be true. There is nothing outside of you that has power over you. No condition, no circumstance, no force greater than your own belief. The only reality that matters is the one you choose to accept. The only truth that exists is the one you declare as real. You may look around and say, but I do not see it yet. And I tell you, the moment you see it, it is no longer creation. Creation happens in the unseen, in the assumption, in the knowing before the evidence appears. The evidence is always the last to arrive. It is the shadow of the belief that preceded it. Do not be swayed by appearances. Do not let the world tell you what is possible. You are the one who defines possibility. You are the one who shapes the world. If you persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, nothing can stop its manifestation. Let go of doubt. Let go of waiting. Let go of the illusion that you must struggle. Step into your power. Step into your knowing. Live now as though everything you have asked for is already here. For if you do, you will soon discover the greatest truth of all, that you were never separate from your desires to begin with, that what you sought was always seeking you, that you were always standing in the midst of your answered prayer, and the moment you finally accept this, the moment you finally believe, the world will have no choice but to bow to your assumption and deliver to you the life you have claimed as your own. There is no force outside of you deciding what you can or cannot have. There is no external power determining when or if your desires will come to pass. The only authority in your world is your assumption, what you accept as real, what you believe without question, what you feel is true even before the evidence appears. This is the key to all manifestation. The moment you truly grasp this, you will stop waiting for life to change and start living as the master of your reality. You must not allow yourself to be moved by appearances. The world you see is not solid, not fixed, not unchangeable. It is fluid, responsive, obedient to your inner state. What you experience today is merely the crystallization of past thoughts, past beliefs, past assumptions. But just as a river flows and changes course, so too can your reality shift the moment you decide it must. Most people believe they are subject to external conditions, that life happens to them, that they must react to whatever is placed before them. But this is a falsehood, an illusion, that keeps them bound to circumstances they do not wish to experience. The truth is that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. You are not here to be a spectator, you are here to be the creator. And so you must decide what you will accept as real. If you continue to see yourself as separate from your desires, you will remain separate from them. If you continue to act as though you are waiting, you will continue to wait. If you continue to seek validation from the external world before you believe, you will remain trapped in the cycle of delay. Instead, you must assume the state of the wish fulfilled. You must live from it, not toward it, not reaching for it, not hoping for it, but from it. This means feeling now as you would feel if your desire were already yours. This means thinking, speaking, and acting in accordance with the reality you have chosen. When you close your eyes, do you feel the joy of already having what you desire? Do you feel the relief, the peace, the certainty? Or do you still feel the longing, the separation, the waiting? If the latter, you must shift. You must make the feeling real within you, for what is real within must become real without. There is no effort required beyond the effort to remain faithful to your assumption. The moment you accept something as true, the world begins to rearrange itself to match that truth. But you must not waver. You must not contradict your assumption with doubt, fear, or hesitation. You must hold fast to your vision, even when the world seems unchanged. Think of the seed planted in the soil. The gardener does not dig it up each day to check if it is growing. He knows that growth is inevitable, that the process is already underway. He trusts that the unseen forces are working to bring forth the harvest. So too must you trust in the unseen power within you. Your assumption is the seed. The moment you plant it in consciousness and nourish it with unwavering belief, it must bear fruit. Do not concern yourself with time. The mind, bound to the illusion of linear progression, will try to impose deadlines, will try to measure progress, will try to dictate how and when things should unfold. But manifestation does not operate on human schedules. It operates according to the law of assumption, which knows only certainty, not time. If you say, "I will have this someday," you have placed your desire in the future, and so it will remain in the future. If you say, "It is already mine," you claim it in the present, and the present must shift to reflect that claim. Do not wait for the world to change before you change. Change within, and the world will follow. Your emotions are the signal that tells you what state you are in. If you feel anxious, uncertain, doubtful, you are in the state of not having. If you feel calm, fulfilled, grateful, you are in the state of having. And what you persist in feeling, you will inevitably experience. This is why it is not enough to simply visualize or affirm your desire. You must feel it real. You must walk as though it is already done. You must breathe as though the thing you long for has already arrived. The universe does not respond to empty words. It responds to the frequency of your being. If you desire wealth, do not entertain thoughts of lack. Do not count pennies with a sense of desperation. Instead, embody the energy of abundance. Feel as though you have more than enough. Move through life with the certainty that you are financially secure, and as you do, wealth will be drawn to you in ways you cannot predict. If you desire love, do not seek it from a place of loneliness. Do not ask, "When will I find someone?" for in doing so you affirm that love is missing. Instead, feel as though love is already surrounding you. Carry yourself as one who is cherished, adored, deeply connected. And as you do, love will reveal itself effortlessly. If you desire health, do not identify with illness. Do not speak of symptoms. Do not dwell in the mindset of struggle. Instead, assume the state of perfect well-being. Feel yourself strong, vibrant, whole. Let that feeling become more real to you than anything the senses may suggest. And as you do, the body must align with the new assumption. There is no force outside of you deciding whether or not you are worthy. There is no test you must pass, no permission you must seek. The only requirement is that you believe. And belief is not something you wait for, it is something you choose. When you claim something as yours in consciousness, reality must catch up. When you persist in the assumption, when you refuse to entertain anything but the fulfillment of your desire, when you move as though it is already done, the world has no choice but to reflect your conviction. Many will tell you that change is difficult, that success requires struggle, that you must fight and toil to achieve what you want. But those who say this do not understand the law. They do not realize that effort in the external world is unnecessary when the internal world is aligned. Creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in potential. Your task is not to force it into being, but to step into the version of yourself where it is already real. And when you do, when you truly accept that you are already living in the reality you desire, the outer world must shift to match it. And so you must not wait another moment. You must not delay your assumption by seeking proof before you believe. The proof will come after you believe. The change will appear after you have assumed it to be real. You must live now in this very moment as though all you have asked for is already yours. You must walk with the assurance that the answer has already been given. You must speak with the confidence of one who knows that their desire has already materialized. You must think, feel, and move in the certainty that the unseen is more real than what is seen. For when you do, when you persist in this state, when you hold firm to your vision with unwavering faith, there will come a moment, sudden, effortless, inevitable, when the world shifts and you will look around and realize that what was once only imagined has become your reality. And in that moment you will know beyond all doubt that you were never separate from your desires, that what you sought was never outside of you, that it was always waiting for you to assume its reality. And the moment you did, it had no choice but to appear. You must not allow your current circumstances to dictate your belief. What you see before you is nothing more than the after-image of old thoughts, old assumptions, old states of being. If you judge reality based on what appears in the moment, you remain trapped in a cycle of repetition, recreating the same experiences over and over again. But if you dare to look beyond appearances, if you dare to accept that what you assume to be real will become real, then you will understand that nothing is fixed, nothing is beyond your power to change. You must walk each day in the absolute conviction that your desire has already been fulfilled, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. You must speak as one who already possesses all that they have ever longed for. You must carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that their dream is not on its way, it has already arrived. The world responds to certainty, not hesitation. If you ask tentatively, if you approach life with an attitude of if only or I hope, then the world will reflect that uncertainty back to you. But if you assume with absolute conviction, if you declare within yourself that it is already done, the world will mold itself to that belief. Your task is not to figure out how your desire will come to pass. That is not your concern. The moment you begin to analyze, to strategize, to question whether it is possible, you introduce doubt, and doubt delays. The how is never your responsibility. Your responsibility is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and to remain there undisturbed by appearances, unaffected by time, unwavering in faith. There will be moments when the world seems unchanged, when reality appears to contradict your assumption. But this is merely a test of your persistence. Most people falter here, allowing fear to creep in, allowing old doubts to reclaim their minds, but not you. You will remain steadfast. You will understand that the external world must take time to reflect the shift that has already occurred within you. And so you will stand firm in your knowing, regardless of what the senses may suggest. If you wish to be free, you must think only from the perspective of freedom. If you wish to be loved, you must feel yourself already loved. If you wish to be abundant, you must walk in the state of abundance now, even if the world tells you otherwise. You cannot wait for proof. You cannot wait for evidence before you believe. You must believe first, and the evidence will follow. Do not allow the mind to wander into questions of when or how. These are distractions, obstacles placed before you by an old way of thinking. Instead, anchor yourself in the feeling of already having received. Live in that feeling so completely that it becomes your new normal. Let it be the first thing you feel upon waking and the last thing you feel before sleep. Let it be so real to you that the world has no choice but to conform. Most people fail to manifest because they attempt to hold two conflicting states at once. They affirm their desire while still identifying with its absence. They speak of abundance while still feeling lack. They visualize success while still fearing failure. And in doing so, they remain in limbo, neither moving forward nor remaining still. You must not make this mistake. You must choose one state and abide in it fully. You are not bound by past failures, by former limitations, by old stories you have told yourself. At any moment, you can step into a new state. You can release every doubt, every fear, every lingering sense of unworthiness, and you can claim your birthright as the creator of your reality. The power has always been yours. The only thing required is that you accept it. Creation is not about force. It is not about effort. It is not about struggling to make something happen. It is about relaxing into the knowing that it is already done. It is about surrendering to the truth that what you have imagined is as real as anything you can touch, hear, or see. It is about moving with the assurance that the world is already aligning itself to match your assumption. There is nothing to chase, there is nothing to earn, there is nothing to prove. You need only be. Be the person who has already received. Be the one who no longer questions. Be the one who no longer waits. The moment you step into that being, the moment you take that identity as your own, the world will shift to confirm it. If you wish to see a change in your life, you must first become that change. If you want to experience joy, you must become joy. If you want to experience love, you must become love. If you want to experience success, you must become success. The external world will never give you what you are unwilling to assume as already yours. You must not waver when others question you. You must not look to the world for reassurance. The world will always reflect back to you what you most deeply believe. If you demand proof before you assume, you will wait forever. But if you assume without needing proof, proof will come. There is no difference between the great and the ordinary except in what they accept as true. The great do not wait for the world to confirm their success. They assume it, and the world falls into place. They do not ask whether they are worthy. They know they are, and the world mirrors that knowing. They do not hope for opportunities. They expect them, and so they appear. You must do the same. You must rise each day in the certainty that your dream is already real. You must act not from a place of wanting, but from a place of already having. You must speak not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. And when the world begins to shift, when the people, the circumstances, the opportunities begin to move in ways you could never have predicted, you will not be surprised, you will not be in awe, you will not marvel at the sudden transformation. You will simply nod in quiet assurance, knowing that it could never have been any other way. For you will have understood the greatest truth of all, that life has never been happening to you, it has always been responding to you. And now you finally know how to command it. You are the master of your reality. There is no external power, no unseen force deciding your fate. The only law that governs your life is the law of assumption. What you believe to be true must become true. There is no exception, no loophole, no special circumstance that can override this law. It is absolute, unwavering, and always working, whether you realize it or not. Look at the life you are living now. Every event, every relationship, every condition is a reflection of what you have previously assumed to be true. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you have accepted certain beliefs, and the world has dutifully mirrored them back to you. If you have experienced struggle, it is only because at some level you have accepted struggle as part of your story. If you have faced rejection, it is because you have unknowingly assumed yourself to be someone who can be rejected. If you have lived in lack, it is because you have believed in lack. But just as easily as you once assumed struggle, rejection, or lack, you can assume ease, love, and abundance. The power to write your story is always in your hands. It does not take time. It does not require effort. It requires only that you shift your awareness, that you step into the state of already having that which you desire. Most people go through life allowing circumstances to dictate their state of mind. They wait for things to change before they allow themselves to feel joy, success, or fulfillment. But this is backward. The world does not change first, you do. The moment you decide that you are already the person you wish to be, the moment you dwell so deeply in that state that it becomes your natural way of being, the world will have no choice but to reflect it back to you. You must stop thinking of your desires and start thinking from them. There is a vast difference between the two. To think of your desire is to see it as something separate, something distant, something you must still work toward. But to think from your desire is to assume it is already yours. It is to feel the relief, the satisfaction, the absolute knowing that what you have wished for is already a part of your reality. What will it feel like if you already had everything you have ever asked for? Close your eyes and dwell in that feeling. Let it take over your being. Let it replace every doubt, every fear, every thought of separation. For as long as you remain in that state, it must manifest. The world must shift to match your new assumption. Do not waver. Do not let appearances deceive you. If you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up the next day to see if it is growing. You trust that the process is unfolding, that unseen forces are at work bringing your vision to life. So too must you trust in the power of your own assumption. The moment you claim something as yours, it is yours. The world may take time to catch up, but your only task is to remain faithful to your new reality. This is not wishful thinking. This is not pretending. This is the truth of how creation works. Everything you experience is the direct result of your state of being. Change the state, and the experience must change with it. Most people make the mistake of reacting to the world instead of creating it. They see lack and assume it is real. They see obstacles and assume they must fight against them. But the wise do not react. They create. They assume the feeling of already having what they desire, and they let the world rearrange itself accordingly. You must do the same. If you desire wealth, stop affirming that it is coming and start assuming that it is already here. If you desire love, stop seeking it outside of yourself and start embodying the feeling of already being loved. If you desire health, stop identifying with illness and start dwelling in the certainty of perfect well-being. And when the world begins to change, when circumstances shift, when opportunities arise, when what once seemed impossible suddenly unfolds effortlessly before you, you will not be surprised. You will not doubt. You will not marvel at your own power. You will simply nod, knowing that it could never have been any other way. For you will have lived as though your desire was already yours, and in doing so, you will have made it so. There is nothing more to seek, there is nothing more to wait for. There is only the assumption, the unwavering belief, the feeling of already being the person you wish to be. And once you step into that state fully, completely, without hesitation, the world will yield to you. It will reshape itself in your image. It will bring to you all that you have claimed as yours. Because the greatest secret is this: you were never separate from your desires. They have always been within you, waiting for you to assume them as real. And the moment you do, they will be. You now hold the key. You now understand that the world is not something you must struggle against, not something you must beg for, not something you must wait on. The world is your mirror, reflecting back only what you assume to be true. So, what will you assume from this moment forward? Will you continue to see yourself as someone who is waiting, longing, hoping? Or will you step boldly into the knowing that everything you desire is already yours? Will you walk as one who has already received, who no longer questions, who no longer seeks, but simply is? This is your moment of decision. This is the moment where you stop letting life happen to you and start commanding it from within. Live now as though all your prayers have been answered. Move now as though the reality you once dreamed of is already here. Breathe now as though nothing is missing, as though nothing has ever been missing. For the truth is, nothing ever was. You were never separate from your desires. You were never unworthy. You were never powerless. You were always the creator, the authority, the force that shapes reality itself. And now, knowing this, you can never go back to living as though you are anything less. Go forth not in hope, but in certainty. Go forth not as a seeker, but as one who is already found. Go forth and live as if God has already answered, because He has.